everyone and welcome to Stitchfoot Creations. I'm Lex and this video is part of a massive collab with some other amazing doll artists. Enchantarium, HisnameisAkin, Hextian, Kitty's World, The Dolly Geek, Jackie O, H. Allycrafts, Doll Nix, myself, and Kiro's Workshop. The colour I have is black. I took parts of a mismatched doll from my stock box and using my airbrush I made them a uniform colour and sealed it with some Games Workshop Miniatorium varnish. Once it was dry, I gave the head and body a coat of Mr. Super Clear. As with all paint jobs, the areas that move or rub will scratch off and the paint job will flake off in places. So I'm just going to have to pretend that you can't really see these bits. I'm using some super thick acrylic wool for his hair. As it's wool I can plug every other hole in the head, which puts less stress on the paint on the face. Because the wool is so voluminous, I can use less in the bulk of the head as well. I give it a quick brush to get rid of any loose bits and then wrap it up in a hair burrito to protect it from any Mr. Super Clear. As the body was ready first, I used pastels to give a sculpt a bit more definition, and then using some iridescent powders highlighted the prominent bits, as the gold pencil I tried didn't really look as good. The face needed a quick touch-up. The hairline had flaked away a little bit when I was rerouting it, so I used pan pastels to cover it back up again. I didn't want to overload the area with layers of MSC as it would make it more fragile and flake easier when I put the head back on the body. The black and brown section of the flag was added in 2018 to be more inclusive. Pride originally was a protest led by trans women of colour who were tired of living in fear due to the police brutality they were facing. And this was 1969. And we're still protesting these things. It's ridiculous. So, in 1970, on the first anniversary of the demonstration, they marched to commemorate the Stonewall riots. They march every year, and rather than a protest, it's become a celebration of sexuality and individuality and taking pride in who you are. I did start his eyes and face with watercolour pencils, but because it would have taken so many layers to make it opaque, I had to start with acrylics very early on. I was quite torn between a natural face-up or some flamboyant makeup, but with the outfit I had in mind, I thought that it might be a bit too much and overwhelming, so I went for a more natural look. In 1978, the flag made its debut and was made an official symbol for the LGBT community. It has been changed and updated along the years, and this year, partway through, starting the collab, we have a new section which is a yellow and purple circle to incorporate intersex people, to keep intersex visible and included. Keeping the colours on the face neutral, I'm hoping to pick out the faces sculpted mainly with highlights and gloss. A couple of layers of the watered down acrylic gave me the solid base colour I was after, and I applied it thinly enough that there were no streaks or unwanted textures on the eyes. Whilst looking for inspiration for the doll, I came across Billy Porter in his amazing red carpet tuxedo dress. I also looked at models who have faced colorism within their own communities due to their darker skin tone. Colorism is when someone experiences prejudice or discrimination against the individuals, typically because of their darker skin tone, within the same ethnic group or racial group. I deepen the colour of the brows with some pastels and add fine hair details with a watercolour pencil. I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can on each layer to try and minimise each layer of MSE that I put on to reduce any build-up. Although I'm part of the LGBT community, I don't represent everyone and their experiences, but I think it's important for me to talk about these things and to show different identities within my work. I've also added some interesting links below that of people who are better qualified to talk about these things than I am. Because of the stark contrast between the skin and the sclera, a lot of the details of the eyes get lost, especially as the Mr. Super Clear dulls the lighter colours down. I go over the body blush again to refine the details on his chest, and it gives me an opportunity to add some more of the glowing highlights. I keep going back to his eyes to try and put more detail in them, but the colours just aren't taking. some more lush pink highlights added to his cheeks, and some false lashes for a tiny bit of drama. And now to fiddle with them and get them to dry in place. I'm using a gold jump ring that I've straightened out a bit to put into the holes where the original eyebrow ring was. Now to the hair. I tried to take sections from different plugs and mat them together to make some synthetic dreads. It took quite a long time, and there was a lot of teasing and twisting with the heat of my mini straighteners to get them to sit in place. But I'm quite impressed with the effect that it had at the end of it. I warmed up his head and gently eased it onto the neck peg, but still bits flaked off. But I could patch those back up with a bit of the paint and sealed it in with a bit of Mr. Super Clear again. And now onto my favourite bit, the outfit. I have sketched around his body and made a rough pattern to fit his torso. Add some facing to the top of the bodice and turn it over and stitch it so there's a nice clean finish on the top. I had to add some fray check to it later on as well because it just kept fraying. This fabric's evil. The underskirts are going to be circle skirts. They're very easy to do. Fold over a square of fabric so that the centre is at one end, and then find your length and cut it into a circly shape and it all folds out like you used to do with snowflakes at school, but without the bits cut out. And then the overskirt is going to be more of an egg shape because I want it to look like it's got a bit of a train. And then with all the spare fabric from the lining material, I have cut all the strips to make one long strip to make one massive ruffle to go underneath one of the underskirts. Add some press studs to the back of the dress and tidy up any loose ends and chuck some frayed check where it's needed. And then I'm going to pin the bodice to the skirt, and I'm going to have to hand sew it together because the hole's too small to go under my sewing machine. I don't like hand sewing. Now it's all put together, I'm going to try on another body to check where the hemline is, and then I'll hem it, and then it's time to add all of the sparkles. Nice and simple, dots of glue, flat backed rhinestones, done. Now repeat forever until it's all shiny, forever. So all those strips that I made earlier, I've sewn them end to end, and it's made 4 meters of ruffling. So I'm going to start from the waist and spiral down the skirt, and hopefully that will give me some nice increased volume. Well, it worked. That's impressive volume. It even stands up by itself. I put the other skirt on top because that covers the stitching, and then I add a waistband, just a simple elasticated one, and then I found this sparkly net, and I thought it would be perfect just to ruche up underneath the section where it's a bit longer so that the train bulges a little bit and has a bit more of a shape to it. And now we dress them up and put them together. I have to say I'm not happy with his eyes. The gloss on the eyes has made them look really squinty and small when the lights are shining on them, which it's a shame. But if I were to do them again, I'd do that differently. But I'm very pleased with this dress, and I love all the sparkly bits on it. So thank you for watching, and please go and have a look at all the other dolls in the collab. They are absolutely amazing. I've left all of their links below to the videos so that you can go and have a look. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see some more, subscribe. And if you've got any more comments or criticisms, let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to hearing from you. See you soon, bye!